Welcome to our roundup of the European Parliament's plenary session here in Strasbourg. The first since President-elect Jean-Claude Juncker named his future College of Commissioners. Those 28 commissioners still need to be approved following parliamentary hearings later in September. But this week was dominated by the historic, though controversial, ratification in Strasbourg and Kiev of a new political and economic deal with Ukraine, a so-called association agreement. Parliament also considered how best to help agricultural producers hard hit by Russia's retaliatory import ban on EU agricultural products. We start our coverage with the vote on the EU-Ukraine agreement. This association agreement, which still needs member state approval, was rejected last year by the then pro-Moscow Ukrainian government. A violent pro-EU change in government and subsequent civil war leaving thousands of dead followed, with Russian military involvement to this day in rebel-held parts of eastern Ukraine. But this week there was applause in both the European and Ukrainian parliaments. With President Petro Poroshenko joining both votes by video conference, the agreement should bring relief for Ukrainian trade headed into the EU, while exceptional EU customs and tariffs ensure its goods remain competitive with many cheaper products from the EU for the time being. EPP Group Chairman Manfred Weber said the vote sent a clear message to Ukraine and Russia, adding it amounted to more than just a multi-billion euro economic deal.
The association agreement with Ukraine is a symbol. It's a symbol for the orientation of a state, of the Ukraine state, and this means orientation in the direction of freedom, of democracy, of a fair justice system. For us in the EPP Group, it's totally clear that we are standing on the side of the Ukraine people who wants to go in this direction.
Meanwhile, Saryusz-Wolski, Polish EPP member of the Foreign Affairs Committee, said the road ahead was long for Ukraine and trust of Russia and its motives very short indeed.
Experience shows that this trust equals zero, because no commitments were so far kept, not to mention all the possible violations of all international law and agreements.
While tariff liberalization worth more than €1 billion a year could be enforced by November 1st, the free trade agreement aspect has been frozen until 2016, after Commission and Ukrainian negotiators, together with Russia, worked out a backroom compromise. This left the EPP's vice chair extremely wary about a new round of Russian backtracking.
This may encourage rather than stop President Putin and Moscow to further escalate its demands and its military action against Ukraine.
Parliament's Foreign Affairs Committee Chairman Elmar Brok summed up the current EU attitude towards Russia.
We have all the reason to mistrust Russia, and therefore it's another reason why there is no reason to give up sanctions which were not given because of this association agreement, but from us because of the military intervention.
Russia imposed a one-year import ban on EU agricultural produce, retaliation for EU economic sanctions against Russia for its actions in eastern Ukraine. The move by Russia now, the EU's second-largest export market for fruits and vegetables, has wreaked havoc on farmers and set off intensive efforts by Parliament to limit the damage. The EU originally supported up to €155 million in emergency market measures for perishable fruits and vegetables, as well as meat, fish, and dairy products such as butter and cheese. But the program was suspended recently after the financial ceiling was reached, and it's a long way from covering the estimated €5 billion worth of overall lost food exports. Czesław Siekierski, Polish EPP Group member on the Agricultural Committee, said that the support system needed to be reinstated and redoubled.
One-third of our exports have been hit very hard. Our producers are still exposed to big losses and have been unable to find another outlet for their products. Some of them are going to the wall. They are going bankrupt.
Siekierski added that many producers were back to square one, with nowhere to turn to make up for the Russian market shortfall.
Given this crisis is of a political nature, that it didn't occur as a result of market collapse or adverse weather conditions, solidarity from other sectors is necessary. Parliament's Agricultural Committee is convinced that the burden of financial assistance needed to help the farmers should not be drawn entirely from the budget line specific to agriculture.
After urging from Siekierski and other Agricultural Committee members, outgoing EU Agricultural Commissioner Dacian Ciolos has promised to renew efforts and funding to find new markets for these displaced EU food products. That's all from Strasbourg. See you next week from Brussels with updates later this month on parliamentary hearings for the Juncker Commission nominees. And find out more about the largest political force in Parliament by going to eppgroup.eu. Thanks for looking in, and see you again soon.